another layer to this is this sort of performance Facebook, Instagram culture that we're in, and that is only perpetuating it because
Yeah.
now if we can snap a photo of it,
Mm,
it can create this illusion of well-being. And again, I
yeah.
think this word well-being is one I've been thinking about a lot.
Mm,
That isn't that what we want? We want to feel like we're doing well. Um, and again, this valuing of the performance aspect of it,
mm,
it's hard to capture a photograph of authenticity.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah. And as teachers, I feel like we have a responsibility to dismantle some of that stuff
Mm-hmm.
and to call it out. I've been talking a lot in my classes about decolonizing our practice and looking
Uh-huh.
at where we've internalized these perfectionistic ideals about how the body is supposed to look, these
Mm-hmm.
dissociative ideals about at
Mm-hmm.
what cost do we make the body look this way,
Uh-huh.
whether it's in terms of how much adipose tissue we carry in our body or the physical postures we accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that even right alignment looks different for different bodies. And I think that can be overwhelming sometimes for a newer teacher.
Yes.
I think that we're also cautious to not overwhelm teachers to teach in such a nuanced way
Yeah.
that it can feel like there's nothing to
Yeah.
hold on to. So it's like basic alignment that's safe for most people,
Mm.
and then language that's about being in one's body. And it can be
Yeah.
as simple as saying to somebody in a forward bend, when you feel the stretch,
Mm.
stop and breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Or reach down and touch your toes, right? The second instruction is a physical accomplishment that's not
Mm-hmm.
connected to an internal experience, right?
Yeah.
So those are subtle things that we're teaching our trainees
Yep.
to be referencing the internal body
Yep.
while understanding anatomy and physiology, thinking critically about it because
Mm.
even if it feels good doesn't mean that it is good, right?
Yeah.
So those distinctions between listening to the body and
Mm-hmm.
knowing when we actually need to use discipline to create some healthier patterns.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when my 8-year-old yesterday really wanted to play more video games, and he said, "My heart is,
Ah.
my body is saying we need it. You tell me to listen to my body, my heart is calling me for more video games,
Well, that's just the brilliance of using your own language against you.
All of it is being used against me, and so this is why this can be a nuanced
Yeah.
conversation, right? Yes, we want to listen to the body, but sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes we actually want to listen to what the teacher is saying.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big charge for the teacher
Yeah.
to make those distinctions to the student.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, there's so much there. It's such a rich territory. As you know, I think social media is a wonderful thing, and it's a very useful thing for people in our profession who are wanting to stay in contact with the community and build a sense of connection and
Yeah,
put ourselves out there. Like it's an unavoidable aspect
absolutely.
of doing what we do. We rely on a fee for service situation where people show up in a room on a given day, and that's how we pay our bills.
Yeah.
And so I think social media is wonderful for just giving us an avenue to connect with people and to get ourselves out there. And at the same time, yeah, we're in this culture of image. And any kind of advertising, any kind of marketing, any kind of putting yourself out there is about creating perception and sharing through an image that has an impact on people.
Hmm.
And so it's a really interesting balance to strike,
Yeah.
to say, okay, that's part of the world we live in now. And
Hmm.
of course, you want to create a beautiful impression. And at the same time, how do we keep spreading the message through our subculture that that's just one aspect
Right.
of this whole journey, right? And that real substantive practice, inner work that's beneficial to our students, to our broader communities, to our country, right, to our culture, is about a lot of different things that can't be captured. As you said, how do you capture authenticity? How do you capture integration? How do you
Yeah.
capture someone who's delved into their own inner work in such a way that their relationships are better, right? This is
Yeah.
one of the things that you say so often that I think really hits a note for people is that you know that your practice is getting better when your relationships get better, not when your poses look more impressive.
Yeah.
So
And I
there's all of that.
Yeah, and I think there's a great trend of people actually using imagery to contradict the
Mm,
status quo. So we're
mm.
seeing larger bodied yoga teachers, folks with disabilities,
Yep, yep,
imagery that shows a diversity of physical expression
yep.
of yoga. And I'm so thrilled to see
Yeah.
that. Visible people refusing to be photoshopped. And I
Mm.
think that we can use social media
Yep,
to push back and deconstruct this
that's right.
and feed people some new imagery of
Yeah.
things that don't look perfect.
I follow a great account on Twitter called Black Yoga Superstars, I think it is.
Mm,
And it's awesome.
yeah,
It's like, oh wow, these are images that have not so far been part of the dominant culture of like the yoga aesthetic, which for a long time has been thin women in their 20s or 30s.
yeah. Then
You
white
know?
women, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thin white women, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and to see even people like Diane Bondi or Jessamine, who are
Mm-hmm.
again larger bodied, who are like, I'm a fat black yoga teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and whose identities are so on the margins of what's considered
Yeah.
yogic,
Yeah.
and they're pushing back, and I think it's really coming through. I mean, to even see,
Mm-hmm.
Gayam and Yoga Journal featuring these women who are strong, they can
Mm-hmm.
do advanced yoga
Yeah,
poses,
yeah.
and again, they're breaking apart some of those stereotypes. It's
Yeah.
really exciting.